Are you ready?
Okay.
Cut the cake.
Push the button.
Okay.
I can handle the button.
Ginsu knife.
How many are there? I don't know how many.
19.
Just keep cutting.
Just don't cut
Keep
all
cutting.
that.
Just don't cut them. Nobody keeps grabbing.
What's the matter with you?
Can I give you a piece
All
of
right,
bread?
I'll
I'm
show.
not
Too much slow, really.
You going to your dad's?
Mother.
Wait a while. Wait a while. That's a house.
We're waiting.
What'd you say?
A house.
H-O-U-S.
Turn up your
Hey, leave some ice in for me, man.
house. You left them out, eh?
Got it lying now. You're going to be happy though.
You don't want to hear it. I know.
I was looking my whole report.
That's John's
No, he knows.
I'm not.
He brought me.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I told him it's an even trade.
always just don't.
That's all right, you can use it.
I'll see y'all later. I gotta go.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You stay for the good part, right? Stay for the good part, the cake.
Small piece.
I want about a third for that piece of that.
Yeah, so can you take one, cut it up, and we'll share it? Where's the recording in the movie projector?
Steve?
Where's
I think that records.
that record with me?
Pray. It'll have to be a school.
Whole third quarter.
Adults only want a little tiny one. Just wonder what she could do with a cupcake. If I would give it about Oh, scrape up all the icing, dip it yourself.
I remember when
Ray.
you kids was born, I got that red station wagon with all the pretty words.
Nothing, I don't push the door. You
I look out the door.
sold the house. I told you you was pulling my leg. You already had spent it. We were moving up here. And
The result is a noticeable improvement in wet weather handling, 20 to 30% over the regular Eagle GTs. And according to Goodyear, the GT Plus 4s don't lose any of their dry road handling ability. 86% of the people who have high-performance tires use their tires in all weather conditions, and high-performance tires account for 30% of tire sales. So there's obviously a market for this tire. But there is a problem. Goodyear says they will supply tires to fit 90% of today's performance cars, which will leave cars that take 50 series tires, IROCs and Corvettes, out in the cold, so to speak. But if this could be the best of all possible worlds, it wouldn't snow on Corvettes anyway.
I make sure it doesn't. Mine stays in the garage all winter. But Beth, you actually had a chance to drive on the Plus 4s. How do you think they perform?
Well, I tried them out on Goodyear's test track in Akron, Ohio, and I thought they gave up a little in dry handling to the regular Eagle GTs, but they are a big improvement in wet handling, and most owners will probably find it to be a very desirable compromise.
Okay, well, thank you, Beth.
You're welcome, John.
Now, performance tires are destined to become an even bigger business for the tire industry. That's because there are so many performance cars around these days, and they come in lots of different shapes, sizes, and forms. Convertibles, for instance, arriving just in time for summer sun. You know, performance and convertibles have always gone together. For openers, there's Maserati's latest biturbo-based Spider. Of course, it's only the first of our topless trio. With this Maserati, performance and convertible fun came together because of marketing, too. It seems that just about everybody who wanted a regular biturbo coupe has already got one. So Maserati has decided to concentrate on the fringes of biturbo interest. And what better way than to send the biturbo off to Italy's Zagato for a convertible conversion, or Spider conversion, if you will. That's Spider with a Y. But Zagato did more than just lop off the top. The car's wheelbase is 4.5 inches shorter, and the rear half of the Spider is new. That makes the manual top mechanism very well integrated, and the rear side glass goes down along with it. The bi-turbo has to give up some room inside, of course, like the entire back seat. But there's enough room left for these removable jump seats and space for an overnight bag. But the bi-turbo Spider gets a few things past bi-turbos didn't have, like these all-leather seats with electric rake adjustment, and a new dash from the four-door 425 model. It has a softer, more up-to-date look. That dash includes much refined gauges, now all clearly visible through the steering wheel, and a very ornate gold clock, shaped like the Maserati symbol. And then there's a 3-speed automatic. It's standard equipment. With this top-down model, Maserati has paid even more attention to detail than usual. The top lining is covered with suede cloth, and the top cover is very easy to attach. Maserati save plenty of trunk room, though we wish the short deck lid had an outside lock. But we do like the inside gas door release. For getting down on the road, the Spider gets the bi-turbo's 2.5-liter twin-turbo V6. This car had the new automatic choke. When you start the engine with it, the ignition must be switched on for a minute or so before the car can be started, or the engine will stall. They say it's a safety device. We're happy to say that all bi-turbos will trade in their carburetors for fuel injection next year. Once we got it running, the engine did run just fine. It pushed the Spider through the quarter mile in a fast 16.8 seconds into 84, and to 60 miles per hour in just 9.5 seconds. But the engine lacks low-end torque, and there's more wind resistance than on the coupe. Both trends are exaggerated by the automatic transmission. No 5-speed is available on the Spider, so overall it's a lot slower than the manual shift hardtop bi-turbo. But then the Spider's not touted as an all-out sports car. Too bad. Its shorter wheelbase and standard power steering make it feel much more nimble in the turns than a standard bi-turbo. After all, most people who buy the Spider won't push it to the limit very often anyway. At least not as often as they'll put the top down and just enjoy. And for driving like that, there's only moderate body shake and a gentle, firm ride, so you really can enjoy. First, you'll have to lop off the top of your checking account, though, about $33,000 worth, for one of only 600 Spiders available this year. But if you want the burble of a twin-turbo V6 to complement your top-down fun, you won't find a substitute at any price. But if you can make do with just one turbo on a 16-valve 4-cylinder, here's another possibility, the new Saab 900 turbo convertible. Saab will sell just 350 of them here this year, and that's one for every dealer for $25,390 each. For that, you get a power top design engineered by ASC in America, but built by Saab in Sweden. The backlight is glass with a standard defroster. It doesn't seem like the Saab would lend itself well to a conversion, but the new back deck lid and boot cover blend right in with the usual, unusual Saab lines. ASC used a hard removable boot cover here, as they did on last year's Toyota Celica convertible. But here you actually get a very usable back seat. The Saab 900 convertible is easily the most roomy, comfortable convertible for 4 adults on the market today. All that top space had to come from somewhere, though, and that somewhere is the trunk, although it, too, holds up well against all current convertible conversions. And, of course, you get all the things Saab hardtop models are famous for: spirited acceleration, road-hugging handling, remarkably short-stopping brakes, and front-wheel drive traction for when the weather isn't so sunny. And then there's that unmistakable turbo whistle, like you never heard a turbo whistle before. But if you'd rather hear a V8 rumble, then there's always this Mustang convertible, and you can even get one decked out in GT 5-liter form. Mustang convertibles are built in cooperation with Cars and Concepts of Brighton, Michigan, and Ford pumped out 15,000 of them last year alone, so there will be plenty to go around. And for you American car convertible buffs who didn't already know, the Mustang gets a power top and a soft, snapless top boot cover. Also in the American tradition, the Mustang loses some of its rear seat room to become a convertible, and some of its luggage space. But this year, a luggage rack comes standard with a handsome, well-integrated, high-mounted stoplight. On the road, you can tell the Mustang has lost some of its body stiffness to the conversion, too. But with a base price of just $12,821 for the LX and $14,523 for the 5-liter GT model. It's the fastest open-air tailwind you can get for the money. Now, all three cars, the Maserati Spider, Saab Turbo Convertible, and Mustang GT 5-liter convertible, fill pretty much the same need. Which one you get depends on how much you want to spend and what kind of mechanical music you want to go with the sun and those free-flowing breezes. Next week, we have 4 exotics on another Motor Week special. The AC Mark IV, the Lamborghini Jalpa, a Ferrari 328, and Lotus Turbo Esprit. You don't want to miss it. See you then.
Motor Week was brought to you by the Robert Bosch Corporation, makers of Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug for American and imported cars. And by STP, makers of STP oil treatment and STP gas treatment.
Studio vehicles provided by Len Stoller Ford and Maserati Automobiles Incorporated.
What turns a man into a lipstick, a woman into a bubble, and a rock concert into a donut? Video magic, the latest computer technology combined with ingenious human artistry. And the result? Video images that stretch beyond the bounds of 2 dimensions and past the limits of reality. I'm Jim Hartz. Join me when we discover the secrets behind today's video magic on Innovation.
Friday night at 7 on Channel 16.
It's one of the most beautiful and technically demanding...
Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night at 6.
That's all.
And now, stay tuned for the best of Carson. From Hollywood, The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. This is Ed McMahon and Doc Severinsen and the NBC Orchestra, inviting you to join Johnny and his guests, Jennifer O'Neill, Dorothy Loudon, and Gallagher. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Boy, I wish we had a show to live up to that. Friday night. Yeah. That's very nice of you, but it's not you. I'm just not into casual affairs. I welcome you. You look very natty tonight.
Spring bouquet.
That's right. Skip to me, my Lulu. Anyway, I welcome you to the Tonight Show and to the community of Burbank. We've got a nice place. Are you people from Burbank? Let me explain Burbank. Burbank is not conservative, I guess, would be the word to describe Burbank. In Burbank, Wally George would be considered a liberal. Anybody know who Wally George is?
No.
He's on, you see him on cable. He's kind of the William Buckley of the cockfight crowd. You know what today is? What? I look up these things just to have something to talk about.
What?
Today is Vincent Van Gogh's, or as they say in, I guess, Vincent Van Gogh. But we pronounce it Vincent Van Gogh's birthday, the famous painter. And I guess he's best remembered for a rather bizarre act of sending his former lover his ear. He got off easy, an ear I could live with.
So Vinny didn't know.
Well, let's go to the news and see if President Reagan has decided to put his 21X MX missiles in hardened photomats. I don't know, they just sounded wild. You believe the president's powers of persuasion? He got his funding for his MX missiles, I guess $1.5 billion. And to show there are no hard feelings about the debate, he's chosen Tip O'Neill to be the first civilian to ride in it. Well, I have some good news and some bad news. If you follow the papers, the bad news is Japan apparently is going to export 25% more cars from Japan to the United States. Now, the good news is they've agreed to hold the line on sushi bars. You go to sushi? You like sushi, don't you?
Oh, I love it, yes.
I've never been able to get with that. I don't like to eat stuff that you catch other fish with. Isn't it a little bit like eating bait or something?
Live shrimp are delicious.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking live shrimp.
Oh, come on, wait a minute, hold it. You mean the shrimp, they bring it to your table, or you mean alive?
Yeah. Well, you know, you sit at the sushi bar.
Yeah,
and they wiggle on the way down.
How can you sit there when your food is going, no? That's awful. Are you putting me on?
No, that's true.
And you do that?
Yes, I've done it.
Man.
Did you ever eat goldfish?
In college once.
Yes.
Well, we put him to sleep first. What was I talking about? Anything important? Oh, about all the Japanese cars coming here. And the Senate is kind of mad because they got a lot of constituents around the country, and they want President Reagan to sign a resolution to retaliate against the Japanese for not opening more markets in Japan for American goods. And I think it's probably unfair of the Japanese not to allow our products into their country. I mean, why should we be the only ones to be stuck with Mr. T breakfast cereal? Is he in the building? Speaking of the president, he has an honor coming to him next week. He's going to be inducted into the Oklahoma Cowboy Hall of Fame. Are you familiar with that? Yeah, which is next month. It's a great honor. They're putting Ronald Reagan's well right next to Gary Cooper's yep. Two impressions, same thing. Now, here's something that's going to make you angry a little bit, but it's absolutely true. The latest trend, according to the papers, in medical care, some hospitals are now offering what they call first-class sections. $1,000 a day suites. $1,000 a day with views and imported French wines. Does that sound a little weird to you? Not only that, your specimen jar is Baccarat crystal. And you never get a cold bedpan. It is preheated by a guy in tourist. First class, first class. They even have a laxative steward. Comes around with a key around his neck and says, "May I suggest a Haley's MO61? They do have, apparently, a no-frills section for the economy-minded. I would stay away from that. During surgery, they use plasma helper. Instead of an x-ray machine, they hold you up to the light. It's not a good thing. But that's true, $1,000 a day, first class. Most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with Masters and Johnson, who did, I guess, one of the original definitive studies on sexuality in the United States. According to their latest findings in a study of 300 males. The average man has a sexual fantasy every 60 seconds. Now, I think that is a little ridiculous that the average man... What was I talking about? Some just went by me. Anyway, you're in a great mood. We got a good show for you tonight. Later on, as our special guest, Joan Collins will be out here and tell us that she called Dr. Ruth Westheimer. And Dr. Ruth Westheimer said, "You did what?" Anyway, tonight, a beautiful actress, Miss Jennifer O'Neill. A gal who was on our show a couple of weeks ago absolutely broke it up. She's currently appearing here in Los Angeles in a wild farcical comedy called Noises Off. Miss Dorothy Loudon. Here. The very subtle, weird, bizarre comedy of Gallagher. Here we are. You'll be right.
I've been on and off diets since the age of 14 until I found something that stops me from craving all those foods I know I shouldn't have. Why, Dexatrim even helps keep me away from chocolate chip ice cream. And I love chocolate chip ice cream. But you know what I love even more? Looking in the mirror and seeing the new me.
Dexatrim people. They're living proof that Dexatrim works.
Minor feminine itching? With Vagisil, it can be as easy to relieve as a common headache. The medication in Vagisil cream is recognized effective by expert gynecologists and used by millions of women who need fast relief. For minor feminine itching, Vagisil cream. It's that simple.
I'd like to tell you about Vagisil Feminine Powder, the first feminine powder to help control moisture. It lets you feel confidently fresh and dry. Vagisil Powder.
Dessert, madam. It's yogurt.
For dessert? Unheard of.
Introducing the yogurt that is good enough for dessert. Dannon Supreme. An extraordinarily delightful Dannon.
Really?
Smashing! Dannon's best fruit in not one, but 2 luscious layers.
Marvelous dessert, darling.
My idea, you know.
Yes, madam.
Yogurt good enough for dessert. Dannon Supreme.
Mixing the pine oil is okay for big jobs, but for small jobs, who needs the hassle? You don't. Now there's Pine Magic, the power of a pine cleaner in a no-mix, no-rinse spray. Pine Magic cleans, disinfects, and deodorizes with that clean smell you pine for. So come on, try Pine Magic. After all, the bucket's a drag for small jobs.
Thank you, Doctor. Doc Severinsen, the great NBC orchestra. Now, recently, this network broadcast an editorial in which our station, WXYZZ, came out in favor of a law that would require American motorists to wear seatbelts. Now, you know, the policy of the station is to invite qualified spokesmen to speak in rebuttal. Now, here, with an opposing view against wearing seatbelts, is Mr. Floyd R. Turbo. Mr. Turbo.
Turbo American. This fudged up station says there should be a law requiring us to wear seatbelts. This raises the question, Kiss my airbag. These numbutts say wearing seatbelts. They say seatbelts would keep you in a car during a crash. Who wants to be in a car during a crash? I'd rather be home watching Hulk Hogan jump on some foreigner's throat. Seatbelts are dangerous. Suppose you get into a head-on collision and it's your fault. If you don't have your seatbelt on, you can be thrown free and escape into the woods. Also, seatbelts make it hard to lean out the window and spray an old lady at the bus stop with a beer can that you've been shaking up. And if you're wearing seatbelts, your date can't scoot over next to you in the pickup. Then you'd never have a chance to see the design on your rear seat floor mats. Before you know it, they will put seatbelts on toilets, and a buzzer will go off whenever you squeeze the Charmin. Now these safety sissies want to put big bags that blow up in front of you when there is a collision. I don't want to pay $500 for that. For $500, I could get Dolly Parton to jump out of my glove compartment. There are too many restrictions. There are too many restrictions on drivers already. Just to get a license, you got to take a written test, have your eyes examined, and pay off the instructor after you swipe a van full of nudes. Nuns. Van full of nuns. They should give more realistic driving tests, like parallel parking after you just dropped a lit Lucky in your lap. Try that. Why should I have to have a driver's license? It is just one more thing to carry in my wallet, along with the item I bought at the drugstore. They even have signs at gas stations that say, no smoking while pumping gas. This is wrong. It robs me of my God-given right to jimmy coins out of the Coke machine following the explosion. And they spend too much of my hard-earned cash on dumb traffic signs like deer crossing. This is stupid. Is a deer running late for an appointment at the beauty parlor? My bumper sticker reads, warning, I floor it for Bambi. And look at the money they kiss away to buy orange vests for road crews. Orange vests are effeminate. A real man works with his shirt off like me and proudly displays the tattoo of the Guam jungle goddess. Now they say Japanese cars are safer. The Japanese are so concerned about our health. Why didn't they drop one-a-day vitamins on Pearl Harbor? In conclusion, I think they should repeal the seatbelt law in New York. If New Yorkers are the ones to survive car crashes, pretty soon they'll take over the whole country, and they'll tear down our national parks and put up delis. Seatbelts are sick. I, for one, do not want something across my wife's chest that hundreds of Detroit auto workers have already fondled. Thank you.
Some flight. The food was cold. We're 2 hours late. Oh, now they lose my bag, and all I have to wear is a claim check. My head is splitting. I've got a headache this big, and it's screaming for Excedrin.
Excedrin, the headache medicine. Regular strength pain relievers give you only this much medicine, but Excedrin gives you this much more. Nothing proven stronger without a prescription.
I had a headache this big, but I took Excedrin, and it's gone.
Excedrin from Bristol-Myers. Excedrin, the headache medicine.
Maxwell House decaffeinated, Maxwell House delicious.
It seems more people are coming back to coffee after dinner, and they're sharing a decaf with the great taste of Maxwell House. Rich, fresh Maxwell House decaffeinated coffee.
A full, rich flavor like Maxwell House has got. Good to the last, decaffeinated drop. Maxwell House decaffeinated. Maxwell House delicious.
Look at the snow. How'd you get here?
In my front-wheel drive Toyota Corolla.
Look, you brought the whole family. How'd you get here?
In my roomy Toyota Corolla.
Sir, it's a very long way from Death Valley with no gas stations. How'd you get here?
In my economical Toyota Corolla.
Hi, how'd you get here?
Well, I backed out of the driveway, took a left on River Road, headed 5 blocks due north.
The 1986 Toyota Corolla. Now you know how to get there.
Who could ask for anything more? Toyota.
Introducing candlelight dinners. We searched the world for the finest gourmet dishes, and now we bring them to you. New candlelight dinners, 6 delicious international meals, from sumptuous chicken cordon bleu to savory beef teriyaki and chicken Kiev. New candlelight dinners from Weight Watchers, from faraway homes to yours.
Before I bring Dorothy out, Doc Severinsen will be appearing with the Lubbock Symphony Orchestra at the Municipal Auditorium in Lubbock, Texas, this Saturday, tomorrow night, March 30th. Another symphony gig, huh?
Hey.
Yep. Hey, that's right. What do you wear when you play with the symphony? You wear something special? Tux? Tails?
Sequins.
Why did I have to ask? Why, I knew. My first guest has been with us before. She is a dynamite knockout performer, and Dorothy is completing a very successful engagement here in Los Angeles, about to leave for San Francisco, where she's going to continue starring in this play, which is called Noise is Off. It'll be at the Curran Theater in San Francisco. Would you welcome, please, Dorothy Loudon. How are you?
Oh, I'm terrific.
Good to see you.
Listen, that was very funny.
You like that?
Oh, yes. That's very funny.
There are a lot of those kind of people around, Floyd, you know.
No, but I mean, that takes a lot of nerve, what you just did.
You know where we got the idea to do that?
No.
Somebody sent me a clipping, some man from a newspaper. He had written into the editor of the paper that the mandatory thing that the government wants to do about wearing seatbelts was a communist plot. And he says it's a communist plot to take over another one of our freedoms. So we said, that's perfect for Floyd, our turbo.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. How you been? What's new in your life?
What's new?
Going to San Francisco.
Oh, yes, going to San Francisco.
Yeah. That's fine. Where are you from? Where are you from originally? Boston.
Yeah.
Boston.
I think they just do that every time you say, how about, well,
yeah.
You know, thank you. I love Boston. I haven't been back in a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't want to open the show because then I didn't realize I follow you, so that's really not like opening the show at all. You warmed the bets. They're terrific.
That's right. I was your warm-up opening
act. Yes, and I appreciate it very much.
Did you?
You try to think. I have nothing to plug. I mean, I have no book. I have no record. I have
no video exercise.
Oh no, not a thing.
Why not? Everybody's got one. You might as well have Dorothy Loudon's physical fitness.
No, well, I mean, take a look at me. Would you buy it? Listen,
I'm not going to.
Don't talk to me about. I know you're not going to touch it.
Yes.
I hope. That's not the way it reads in the contract.
Excuse me, I'm having one of those fantasies. Do you believe that? I know you heard the monologue.
I heard every
According to Masters and Johnson, the average man has a sex every 60 seconds.
I don't know any average men. I was trying to think, say, what I could do that would be very, very individual. Right now, I've got makeup all over my dress.
That's all right.
And I got here very early, so I wouldn't have to be in the makeup room with Jennifer O'Neill. I mean, she is so pretty.
Oh, well.
She doesn't even have to go in the makeup room.
Yeah.
Anyway, I figured something out that you might like for me to do. You know, I'm going to sing and all that.
I know.
I have to take a little time. I don't want Freddie to get nervous. That nervous laugh.
Yeah, see, you've talked about that before, which I don't understand.
What?
You've been working on live audiences all of your life.
Oh, I'm terrified.
Theater.
Yeah.
And yet you told me the first time you were here on the show, you said you were nervous.
I'm always going to say I did some more
Why?
with that makeup. No, I'm not nervous here because of the audience and because of you and, you know, the friendly atmosphere here. Television is very rubber. I can't talk about television right now because I'm pretending I'm not doing it. See? But I want to do this because this is something that I do that's quite unique. I do the, and I thought I should do it because nobody else does it. Just keep nodding.
Right.
Why can't I get on Star Search?
Anytime you want to go. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, just don't talk to me. So I do the trombone part to In the Mood.
Hey.
Would you like to hear that?
Yes. Now, I've been doing this show a long time.
Okay.
You're the first. You do the trombone part to In the Mood.
Yes. It's a little intro first, then I do it. Okay. It's coming out. That's it.
That's it?
That's it. Not good? And let's see. I do an impression. I only do one. Of Phil Rizzuto.
Well,
see? Now, that's for...
You'll grab him with this.
Sports fans. I just figured I'd cover, you know, the entire sphere. If you don't know who that is, that's the Scooter. He's one of the greatest shortstops that ever played baseball. Right. He was a New York Yankee. To my knowledge, I don't think anybody does Phil Rizzuto.
No, it's a first for me.
Except possibly Mrs. Rizzuto.
Mrs. Rizzuto. Come on, folks. Come now.
What a
dignity,
dirty
isn't it?
I'm not going to do him just for that. I'm going to save him for the next. But you know, I was thinking when you're on the road, you learn to do a lot of things.
On the road again?
On the road again. Oh, I love him so.
But I want to get back to one thing.
I can't.
My mind was on something, and I want to follow.
I just had it.
You're such a sneak.
Yes.
Masters and Johnson said, now, men I understand. What I'm asking you, what about women?
Why are you asking me?
Well,
I mean,
unless you're in drag tonight, I think you're a woman.
No, I'm wearing Doc's jacket.
Do women have sexual fantasies with that frequency?
I'll tell you something. I'm sure they do. But I'm so busy. I don't mean in that way.
Just can't...
I just went from one town to another.
Yes.
And I just... They probably do. I'm
I didn't
stuttering.
mean to interrupt you.
No, you just humiliated me. I have nothing to judge it by.
What's the very first professional engagement you ever did? Was it a hit, or did you go...
The very first?
Yeah, were you in front of an audience professionally? Or amateur, you know?
The very first professional thing I ever did was at Frank Vaccarelli's Crystal Lounge in Troy, New York. I played piano and I sang.
Yeah.
And I went all the places that nobody else would go. You know, and I was on one of those whirling bars, you know, where you put, oh, buttermilk sky, and you're looking down and the guy's gone. You know?
But that was a big attraction.
But there's always someone else, you know.
But that was a big attraction, I'd say, with its famous revolving bar,
oh, yeah.
right? And
I've been on all of those.
Yes.
I was on another one. There was the Blue Mirror in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Remember the Chanticleer and the Club Charles in Baltimore? They were very chic clubs.
Yeah.
Well, the Blue Mirror was across the street. And every time some drunk got really out of line at the Chanticleer, that they'd come across the street.
And that's where you were playing.
And you said, oh, buttermilk. There, and there was a Hidey Ho in Long Island. In Baldwin, Long Island.
Were they tough? Were they what you call
They
rough?
were very rough, yeah. I knew about 1,500 songs, and I did a lot of requests, and I wrote a lot of stuff. I did a lot of parodies. You made me love you. It's kind of sad. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. You had a fishtail, and all the time you knew it. Just tell me how you grew it. It goes on.
Yes, kind of Noel Cowardish in concept.
I never knew, dear, that when you called me Daddy, that you were Finn and Hattie. It is awful, isn't it? Yeah. But you asked me what I did.
Yes, I did.
So obviously I didn't do too well.
And not big money enough.
Not big money. No, everybody thinks that show business is, you know, on the bus with the band.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is. Well, remember Orchestra Wives? I thought that was such a, terrific movie, Dancing in the Aisles. I wanted to do that. That's not the way it is. I was on the bus with a band once.
No dancing in the aisles?
No dancing. You know whose band?
Who?
Ted Lewis. Now,
Ted Lewis.
What can happen on the bus with Ted Lewis?
Is everybody happy?
Yes, and everybody's saying, no! No!
We're not happy.
No, we're not happy.
Okay, we'll take a short break. We're coming right back, folks. The Blue Mirror.
Take it along for the ride. The portable breakfast from McDonald's. Your choice of 5 breakfast sandwiches.
McDonald's has a great new way to eat breakfast. Always fresh and hot. 3 kinds of biscuits are
portable breakfast from McDonald's.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Who's gonna be at the Silver Bullet tonight? Silver Bullet. Sipping on a cold Coors Light. Partying right.
35 wins in a row. The guy never loses.
Never does.
What's the secret?
Loose chili.
Lose chili?
He never eats it.
Ah. You have any popcorn?
There's no slowing down with the Silver Bullet tonight.
Coors Light beer.
Excuse me, I ordered fish.
That is fish.
I think. Why order fish when it ends up looking like a burger?
Hey, Fred? Is this fish?
Introducing new seafood salad from Taco Bell. Fresh vegetables, tender bay shrimp, and a delicious blend of whitefish and snow crab. A refreshing change from anything on a bun.
If it's square, it's fish. If it's round, it's a burger.
New seafood salad from Taco Bell. The cure for the common meal.
Come summer, come Goombay, the Bahamas.
It's all here in the Bahamas. You have a lot to do.
You may not want to do it all this summer, but it's nice to know it's there.
It's back in the
Bahamas vacations from $145. Call 1-800-MY-BAHAMAS for more information. Sell or else. How door-to-door sales companies turn young people's dreams into a nightmare of violence.
Sometimes beat and rape.
And can light trucks be hazardous to your health? Why don't they meet the same safety requirements as cars? A surprising report. Tuesday on the premiere of 1986.
More great news from your Mazda dealer. The Mazda RX-7 Series is Motor Trend's Import Car of the Year, and no wonder. With a rear suspension system unsurpassed anywhere, it's incredibly agile. And this RX-7 goes from 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. Yet it's stickered 4,000 less than Nissan 300ZX. See your Mazda dealer and test drive the 86 Import Car of the Year. It's like driving lightning. See your Bay Area Mazda dealer in Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Clearwater.
Dessert, madam. It's yogurt.
For dessert? Unheard of.
Introducing the yogurt that is good enough for dessert. Dannon Supreme. An extraordinarily delightful Dannon.
Really?
Smashing!
Dannon's best fruit in not one, but 2 luscious layers.
Marvelous dessert, darling.
My idea, you know.
Yes, madam.
Yogurt good enough for dessert. Dannon Supreme.
It's here. Bigger than anything you've ever imagined.
Mom, we're going down.
Voyage to the bottom of the ocean floor. Explore the living seas.
There he goes.
The largest man-made undersea environment in the world. You'll never know what you'll discover. The living seas. The world's 6th ocean at Walt Disney World, Epcot Center.
A second chance for youthful lawbreakers, Tuesday on News Watch 8.
We're back talking with Dorothy Loudon. Jennifer O'Neill and Gallagher are here. We were talking about some of the finer clubs. It's always more fun to talk about, I don't know why, the early days and some of the lousy joints, because they bring back funny things now.
Well, it's because you never have to do that again.
Yeah.
It's like youth. You know, you can do a lot of things when you're young because you've got guts then. And as you get older, you just wonder how you ever have the nerve to do
those things
you know? But when you're young, it doesn't take much nerve. You know, I just did a lot. It's a funny thing. I wanted to talk to you because you've worked so many clubs, and gee, the guys over there. Nothing ever changes, as rotten as those dumps were. And then the jobs got better, and I went to the Empire Room in Chicago, and I went to the Persian Room, which is sort of the, I suppose, the ultimate. Yes, the Persian Room of the Plaza Hotel in New York City. But you always come through the kitchen.
Hotels were built.
Always.
I don't know who built them.
You stand there, and it was like 15 years after I'd started, I was standing there, and there was this drum roll, and this guy saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Plaza Hotel takes great pleasure in presenting," you know, and I looked around, and I thought, my God, I'm still in the kitchen.
There you are.
But, you know, Freddie did a cute thing. He, in my dressing room, he sort of siphoned in some grease fumes.
Just so you'd feel
Yes. And when I came out, you know, there was this guy dressed like a busboy, and he hit me with a tray.
She's not kidding. If
No.
you work
So I
hotels,
feel
that's where you come
very much at home, yeah. Like, I call it the kitchen brigade. You're part of that. You've done that.
That was a lot of fun. Let's do
It
fun.
is fun. It's
What are you going to do for us tonight?
I never want to do it.
Because I love to watch you perform.
I'm going to do, actually, I must say, somebody on your staff, the last time I was on the show, said that they thought my material was a little too sophisticated, which I think is hysterically funny, because, you know, my underwear is held together with safety pins, and I don't understand that at all. However, so I'm not going to do anything remotely sophisticated tonight. I'm going to do something, well, filthy is actually what it is.
I see.
No. Oh, they're terrible. No. It's not that. I'm not at all. But I'm going to do a song that was written by Billy Rose. Really? He wrote it for Fanny Bryce, actually. I could have done another song that he wrote called "Does the Spearmint Lose Its Flavor on the Bedpost?"